Hey guys, welcome back, and today will be a little bit of a buying and sales lesson for everyone. So one of the questions that I was asked, how do I get so many binders? And then two, how do I negotiate binders? Well, for the first part, I just put an ad saying that I'm buying Pokemon cards, and I go from there. Now, how I negotiate binders may seem a little sketch, but it's kind of just how I do it, and I passed up on a lot of binders. Some binders have been a loss. A good few binders have been a win, and it's really simple. And this is just another purchase I just did today. So we're calling this a binder because it was a set of cards, front and back. And so what I do when I'm figuring out how I'm going to get this, well, usually it's through, Facebook Messenger, and of course I start the process with people contact me. And I start the process with, okay, well, can you please send pictures? And then I usually ask, do you have a price for all? Now, they usually like to try and squeeze out every dollar, because they don't really know how much their cards are worth usually if they're contacting me. People who are contacting me are usually people who realize they have Pokemon cards in their attic, they saw my ad, and they hit me up. So what I tend to do when I'm figuring out, so there's this lot here, so this was all one purchase, these on this side, and then all of these on this side. And so the main one, of course, was Dark Charizard. So I tend to try and base my offer on one, of course, what do I think they're actually going to be condition-wise, and I'll vary from, if the pictures usually won't get too many close-up pictures of binders. You'll just get either, if it's a huge binder, they'll send you a video of them flipping the pages, and you'll see which cards you're looking at. And it is very hard to tell what condition they're in. And they'll ask for an offer on the spot. And I usually will just assume the cards are around a PSA 6. So I will give a price, but when I give my price, it's generally based on any card that's over $200. So I'll see that they have a thing of hollows, like Dark Arbok is not worth that much unless he's PSA 8 and he's an 8 or more, then he's worth some money. PSA 10, I think he goes for like $100 something bucks unless it just spiked up. So I don't even really consider these cards so much. I consider this card out of this page because Dark Charizard PSA 7 goes, I just saw an active bid on him for $200. People are definitely asking for more. That doesn't mean anything, but PSA 7 he goes for $200. PSA 6 probably $150. There's not usually a huge gap between 6 and 7. Your gaps in price come from 7 to 8 to 8 to 9 to 9 to 10. So I make an offer based on any card usually that's $100 plus or $200. Now, if I get a binder that's filled with just a ton of like if it just had 100 hollow Dark Arboks, my offer for that at 100 hollow Dark Arboks would generally be probably $500, depending on condition. If I come and see them and they're in way worse condition than your video and pictures, I'll tell you I won't be super I won't be upset about it. I won't be too rough about it because I generally try and fit any time frame and location based on what I'm doing in my daily life anyways. So, and I try and work with whoever I'm negotiating. So for this one, for example, Dark Charizard, the dude said the cards were between 8 to 10. When I met him in person, I meant to bring my ruler card, which is I have a Dark Magneton, a Fossil Magneton that's already graded, and it's a PSA 8, and I use that to help me eyeball the actual grade value of the cards. I would not say most of these are 8 to 10s. I would say we have some 6s, and there might be a 10 here. I didn't pull them all out. So once again, the reason why I do my offer based on the cards that are 200 and up, and I don't usually offer 200 and up for the single card. I make my offer based on how many cards they have 200 and up. So for this one, I base my offer pretty much just on Dark Charizard, and the rest were just bonus cards for me. And so I offered between $100 and $300 based on condition. I met the person in person, and I only pulled one card out. And the only card I pulled out was Dark Charizard, and I looked at it front and back. So I pulled, I asked, hey, can I pull a card out? Can I pull these cards out? Because I don't want anyone getting mad at me for pulling them out of their plastic. So I looked at it front and back. I saw there was, it's not perfect, but the whiting on the edges is minimal. However, there is like wax surface. But other than that, there's no whiting, but there is the back wax a little bit missing. Nothing crazy. The front, the hollow foil was pretty much mostly there. This is a harder hollow foil to see damage on because of it being darker. No swirl, which is fine, but the rest of the front was pretty good. So once I saw that, I realized this card could probably be a PSA 8. I wouldn't say it's an easy 8, but I would say it's pretty much probably an 8, definitely a 7. So I saw a 7 going actively for $200. Now, I gave him $250 for this, and he took it pretty quick. So I'm pretty certain I probably could have offered $200 and he would have taken $200, but I already had $250 come out of my mouth. And then I also, I based that extra $50 to try and seal the deal, and then also because there was other hollows in here. So like some of these look like on the front they're in pretty decent condition. If one of the cards is in pretty decent condition and it's all on the same sheet, there's a good chance that most of them are pretty good condition. So like Dark Alakazam will probably go for $30 to $50, and so the rest of the cards are just bonus cash. So most of these cards, just as is, will be $10-20, but like depending on what they are PSA, it will definitely make them go up. So like PSA Erica's Venusaur, especially with that super dominant swirl right there. I think PSA 8, I haven't looked at the card yet, I'm just showing this binder sheet right now. I'd say PSA 8 Erica's Venusaur, I think they go for $100. So just the Dark Charizard and Venusaur will cover it. If the Charizard only comes back at 7, if it comes back at 8, PSA 8 Charizard, Dark Charizards, I see a bunch of asking for $750, and I think some are selling for $750. So that's why I'm talking about that jump between 7 to 8. So Dark Charizard 7, PSA 7, going for $200. Dark Charizard PSA 8, actually selling between $500 and $750. So I'm going to make my money on this pretty easily, in my opinion. Not all my binder deals go that well. It's hit or miss, really. This Machamp, usually Machamps are in pretty good condition. This one definitely isn't in perfect condition. It's not a PSA 10. I could feel some roughness as I pulled it out. There's some scratches on the hollow foil. I mean, it's still a decent condition Machamp, which is pretty good. I could sell it as is, probably for $10 to $20. Or I could PSA it, and it would probably come between the 7s and 8s, so it's probably still worth it. I don't think the 7s are selling too hot right now, because depending on the rarity of the card, it's not going to matter too much unless it's a pretty sought-out after card if it's low PSA. So like PSA 1 base set Charizards, I actually saw active bids of $500. That's PSA 1s, and there wasn't any false advertisement in the description. So that's pretty much how I negotiate. If you run into the error to where people will say, well, no, they're going for this much, and that may be true, but you got to talk them down a bit. It's a negotiation process. So like I had one, the dude told me the binder was worth $1,000. I got away with giving him, I believe, $450, $500 for it. He said, individually all the cards are worth $1,000. I said, that's individually. That's if they're all PSA'd. That's if they all come back a certain grade. And I just don't think they're in that condition, and they weren't. I'm taking a risk on that one in regards to it had a base set Charizard, and I'm hoping the base set Charizard will pay it off. And the rest of the hollows will just be minuscule payment back over time. So there's some long-term investments in this game, some short-term. I definitely say long-term, especially with PSA, unless you have cards that you pick up that you're super expressing. It's not too long-term, except for waiting for the sale to go through. So yeah, I had one of my first PSA cards back is a PSA 8 Shadowless Charizard, and people are asking more than $9,000. I'm asking $9,000 currently. I have a few watchers. I haven't had any offers. I have it set to where offers have to at least be $7,500 for them to even pop up on my messages. So there's probably a bunch of people offering, but they're probably offering like $1,000. Like I've had this issue before where I was selling hollow base set Charizards by accident. By accident, I didn't know better. I was selling base set hollow Charizards on eBay, and I just had them set to bid. I started to bid at a penny, and I had accidentally left make an offer on. It's pretty funny. I had a bunch of people do make offers at $20-$30, saying they'll buy it right now, then and there. And I said, don't be shy, just put your bid on. And I'm like, why even have the reason to make an offer if you aren't going to accept offers? Well, I probably would have accepted offers if they were actually what those cards sold for way less than they should have. And that's my fault without knowing. what they were going to be PSA. They would have been PSA'd 6 to 7 Space Set Charizards, and they sold for 120, 150 bucks because I didn't grade them. So huge mistake there. But it was really funny to see people offer me 20 to 30 bucks saying, I'll get the cash right now, I won't have to wait a week. And I was like, nah, just put your bid in the bid box. So Charizard's definitely PSA if they're base set. Even base set 2 is worth PSAing pretty well. Dark Charizard has jumped up because I remember Dark Charizard really didn't go for that much even when he was PSA'd. So yeah, that's how I negotiate binders, and I'm counting this as a binder because I bought it all as a sheet. So yeah, if I come across a binder that has maybe multiple cards that are worth 200 plus, I'll take the time to look at each one of them. And that's how I make my offers. I make my offers based on those cards. The other cards that are hit or misses on 10, 20 bucks here and there, like a Machamp as is, goes for literally like $5 to $15. But if you get him PSA'd, he can go for 200 and up depending on the PSA. He has to at least be at 8 or higher. I don't know if 8s are going for 200s, but I know 9s went for 300s and 10s are going for a grand active bids. So like I won't really make an offer on a Machamp unless I see it and I can actually tell that it's in absolute perfect condition, and I'm going to base that price on the PSA 9 because there might be a flaw I don't see, and then if I gave you 500 for him thinking he's going to be a PSA 10 and he comes back a PSA 9, I basically lost $205, $210. So you got to account for sending him into the PSA, the cost of shipping, the cost of the PSA grading service, the amount of time involved. So yeah, I make my price based on a few grades lower. If someone was telling me Machamp that I see in person and it really is in mint condition, from at least what I can tell, I'm gonna basically offer like $100. So I'm taking a risk. I'm sending them in, getting lost in the mail if I didn't insure them. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't insure them. Even when you insure them, you don't get all your money back. So yeah, just some lessons with some binders. We've been playing a little bit of makeup, but once if that Shadowless Charizard sells and Shadowless Blastoise sells, we'll be good to go. I've got a Mystery Cube coming in. Apparently the Mystery Cubes, this brand wasn't a good brand of them. They apparently did a bad job on actually like pulling through, but we'll see when it gets here, and we'll do a video on the Mystery Cube. And then I have another video right after this. It's technically going to count as my pack battle, and you'll see why. And so yeah, that's how I negotiate these binders. Thanks. Bye.